So, very well done last lesson. You were excellent at rounding to 1 or 2 decimal places. I think a lot of you have done that before, so well done on remembering that. And those of you who it was new to you, well done by understanding it by the end of the lesson. I think pretty much all of you have got those all right on Dr. Frost by the end of the lesson. So let me have a quick look. 20 out of 20, all the way down. So fabulous effort. So well done, everybody. So rounding by to decimal places is one way of rounding answers. The other way is something called significant figures. Now, some of you may have done this at junior school, but I think it's more likely this one might be new to some of you. Okay, so rounding to significant figures is what we're going to do. Okay? So just like what we normally do, I'll do a little bit of teaching, recorded. I will then stop the recording and I will share screen with the questions that you're working on. And then you guys, you may have run off the worksheet in advance of the lesson. It was on Teams attached to the scheduled lesson. Or you don't have to run off the questions. You know, these are quite short, these questions. You can just do your workings and answers in your orange books. And then please remember to upload your answers onto Dr. Frost so I can keep an eye on how you're progressing during the lesson. So, let's imagine that we're talking about a big football ground, say somewhere like Old Trafford or something, okay? Man United's ground. And let's say it's got an exact capacity of 78,321, okay? Now, when we round to one significant figure, we're only allowed to include one number in our answer that isn't zeros, okay? So one significant figure, only one non-zero number, 2 significant figures, 2 non-zeros, and so on. Think of it as zeros are free. You can have as many zeros as you want in order to get that other number into the appropriate column. So what is 78,321 as a number when you're only allowed one number that's not a naught? And you're going to focus on the first number. We're going to be focusing on that 7. So we could either say 70,000, that would be just the 7 and lots of noughts, or we could say 80,000. Okay, so this bit is similar to rounding. In order to commit to what that first digit is, you've got to again look at the second digit and decide whether you need to round it up or not. And again, if the next number is 5 or above, you round up. So rounding to one significant figure, Man United's ground holds 80,000 people. Okay, so just waiting for that yellow box to reveal. It's a bit of a lag here. There we go. Okay, so if you and we use significant figures in day-to-day language all the time. You know, how many? What's the capacity of Cheltenham Town? I don't know, about 8,000, something like that. What's the capacity of Forest Green, team I support? I don't know, about 3,000. And then big grounds like Tottenham's new ground takes about 60,000. I think Wembley takes about 80,000. So we're forever sort of doing rounding to significant figures. If you went and played a game of football before lockdown, there might have been 100 people watching, there might have been 20 watching. You just always rounding to significant figures, just in day-to-day life, okay? So, one significant figure, answer has only one number, which is not 0. Now, so rounding to 2 significant figures, let's go back to that 78,321. Now, 2 significant figures, we now have 2 digits that aren't zeros. So we keep the 7 for now, and then we move on and focus on the second number. Does that 8 round up? So we have to look at the third number. The third number is below 5, not 5 or above. Okay, so that does not round up. So that 8 stays as it is. So 78,321 to 2 significant figures is going to be 78,000. So note how we've got 2 numbers which are not noughts when it's 2 significant figures, and we've got 1 figure when it's 1 significant figure. So what I would like you to do, please, now you can either do these in your head, okay, or you can choose to write them down. So we've got the actual numbers on the left. So that's the exact numbers. And then what I want you to do, I want you to round each of them to firstly one significant figure, and then secondly to two significant figures. And what I want you to do, I want you to work across the rows. So in your head, all writing down, can you please round 53,100, first of all to one significant figure, and then to two significant figures. And then move on to number 2 and round that to one significant figure, and then round that to two significant figures, and so on. So I'm just going to give you a minute to have a think about these 6 questions. Stay muted, please, just so, because this is still being recorded, just so everybody can have a good think. And as I said, I don't mind if you're quickly scribbling these down and writing down the answers, or whether you're just doing these in your head. Okay, so just have a think. So that first column, there's only going to be one number that is not a 0, and you can have as many zeros as you want. And then secondly, 2 numbers. Now I see that some of you made a start on the work already. Now that's fine if you absolutely know what you're doing, like it looks like Ava does, okay? But some of you have started off and you're getting a whole bunch of questions wrong. So I think if you're doing that, it would be much wiser to listen to the teaching first and not be in such a rush to get going, okay? So so please just have a look at these on the board before you start launching into the questions, because there's not much point just ignoring this bit and just starting the questions and getting all 4 of the first ones wrong. It's a bit pointless, really, because you obviously don't know what you're doing yet. So 53,100, one significant figure, only one number is not a naught. That's going to be 50,000. I know there's a lag, a smaller lag now. And to two significant figures, that would be 53,000. 57,600 to one significant figure. It's not 50,000, that's going to be 60,000. But again, note how there's just the one digit that is not a 0. And then for two significant figures, we've got the 5 and the 7. Do we round that 7 up? Yes, we do, because of the 6. So that's going to be 58,000. And then the third one, 394,241. That's going to be 400,000 to one significant figure, but 390,000 to two significant figures. Okay, now 123.4, that's going to be 100 to one significant figure. No need for the decimal. And 120 to two significant figures. And then 1,863 will be 2,000 to one significant figure, but 1,900 to 2. That 6 means the 8 is rounded up, so 1,900. Now, be careful with something like this. It is possible to have to do these very small numbers to significant figures. So all the zeros are now going to be before our first number. So it's going to be 0.00 and then a 6 to one significant figure, and then 0.0064 to two significant figures. So there are quite a few on the worksheets like that as well. So make sure that you understand those. So please note the bits highlighted in purple. Okay. At the end of the day, if it's to one significant figure and you've got more than one number written down that isn't a 0, you're wrong. And the same with two significant figures. Your answers should include 2 digits which aren't zeros. Okay, guys, so that's it on the teaching. So please stay muted and camera off until I say the recording has finished.